Hi there, Andrew Ambrosius here. Welcome back to another episode of The Art of Business English. Today, I've got an interesting episode. It's episode 86 of The Art of Business English. And basically, we're going to be looking at prepositions that come after different structures like verbs, adjectives, nouns. So let's take a look and jump right in. Okay, so a bit of background. Last week, I was working with one of my clients and we were looking at prepositions after verbs, adjectives, nouns, etc. And yeah, he was struggling basically not just with the grammar, with understanding why or which verbs, nouns, adjectives are followed by prepositions, but one of the biggest challenges was the pronunciation. So I've extracted a few little listening samples from my class, and we're going to look at those today. So in episode 86, we'll be covering prepositions after verbs, adjectives, and nouns, and I'm going to give you some pronunciation tips that will help you better understand how these sounds come about and how you can listen for them. Okay, so let's jump in and take a look at the first one. Okay, so the first one is to be interested in. Okay, so to be interested in. Now, I want you just to listen to this small little sound bite here.
Well, I've always been interested in teaching.
Okay, so as you can see, the pronunciation it's quite difficult, isn't it? It's like to be interested in. Interested in. So, we don't say it very smoothly, we don't say it very clearly, do we? We say it quite smoothly. So, it can be sometimes quite difficult to pick up these prepositions. Luckily, for example, in this one, in Spanish, it's very similar. It's interesado en. So, it's not that different from Spanish. So, does anyone know what this combination is? Yep, it's an adjective plus in. So, we have got, adjectives that can be followed by the preposition in. And in this case, we got to be interested in. I'm interested in playing football. I'm interested in technology. Okay. You'll notice that what we do is we actually really contract or really stick that preposition to the adjective. We don't put a pause. We don't say, I'm interested in. We say, I'm interested in. It becomes one word, okay? It sort of flows together. Let's take a look then at another one. So the next one is to share something with someone. You'll notice my pronunciation, to share something with, not with, it's with someone. So I'm sharing a room with Maria at university. Okay, I'm sharing a room with Maria. So we can put an object between share because it's something. Okay, so we some prepositions or some of these structures have an object in the middle. For example, to share something with, and we separate in this case. We'll listen to the little sound bite here. Let's listen to this for a second.
And I'm hoping for a place on this course because then I'll be able to share a flat with him.
So here she wants to share a room with her brother. Okay. Now you can see here, what's this combination? It's pretty obvious. It's a verb plus with. Now in this case, as I mentioned, we have an object in the middle. So share the room with. Okay. Share it with. Okay. Share it with John. So sometimes, the pronunciation can sound like we're saying just one word. Share it with. So, who should I share this chocolate with? Share it with John. Share it with John. So really, we're not forming like the full sounds of share it with. We're share it with. Okay. So that's how we really make the it in this case really takes on a soft form. Share it with. Okay, and that's how we make this transition, and that helps us flow. The problem is, if you're a non-native speaker of English, it can be a bit difficult to really understand the individual words. So let's take a look at the next one, which is to be impressed with or to be impressed by. So again, listen to this quick soundbite.
I was really impressed with the description of the course in your prospectus.
So yeah, this is what combination is it? Can you guess? Yeah, it's an adjective plus with or by. So this is very common, to be impressed by or to be impressed with. I was very impressed with your performance. But again, let's look at the pronunciation. It's impressed with. We don't really say impressed with. It's very difficult to say impressed and then stop and then transition to with. The sounds don't, the way you need to change the pronunciation in your mouth makes it difficult. It doesn't make it flow. So what we do in English is we really make the t sound, or the d in this case. I mean, you know that when we pronounce adjectives and verbs in the simple past with ed, often that sound is t. So to be impressed, not impressed. You don't say impressed. So it's to be impressed with. And that T really becomes a soft S. So it's to be impressed with, okay? Or to be impressed by. So to make the flow easy and natural, we really soften that T sound. And that's very common in English. Okay, so let's take a look at the next one, which is to learn about something. Now, I would like you to listen to this soundbite. So listen to this for a second.
I like the idea of learning about teaching before being asked to do it.
Okay, so you can see we can learn about, things. Learner. So that the transition is we don't say to learn about, we don't pause. The N makes a transition with the A, and the A becomes quite neutral. It's not A or about, it's So it's learn about. Learn about. Okay, so the transition is with that n sound. So I'd like to learn about computing. Okay, I'd like to learn about cooking. So this n, learner, is the transition. Okay, so we've got lots of ways that we can do transitions in English, and that's another example, a linking ny sound. Okay, it's very common. A y and ny. Y sound or w, these are quite common linking sounds. So what is this combination? Well, this is a verb plus about. And, it's very common as well. To talk about, okay? Hear about. Did you hear about the match? Did you hear about the accident? Okay, so that's a very common combination. Let's look at another one, and that is to warn somebody about, okay? So to warn somebody about. Warn him. So again, here this N becomes a N, and the N is for the transition. So for example, listen to this soundbite and we'll continue.
She warned me about all of the hard work.
Okay, so looking at warn about, if I put a pronoun, so if I put him or her, it would be warn her about. I think you should warn her about the bad weather. Or warn him. Him becomes nim. Warn him about the bad weather, or warn her about the bad weather. So we soften the H's and we make this n sound to create a transition. So again, warn about is a verb plus about. Okay, so it's similar to the previous one we looked at. And, it's this N sound to make the transition. Okay, let's look at the next one, which is to be good or bad at something. Now, this one is a common mistake in Spanish, or with Spanish speakers, because in Spanish it's ser bueno en or ser malo en. So people commonly make the mistake, they put in instead of about, okay? But it's actually to be good at or to be bad at. So listen to the soundbite here.
You can see from my application form that I'm not very good at maths.
Okay, so you can see, I'm not very good at maths. I'm not very good at maths. Good at. So the at is really softened. It's not good at, it's ut. It's British English, okay? So he's bad at, not bad at maths. She's good at maths, good at. So you can see by making the at a neutral sound, ut, then we can make a smooth transition, okay? So that is an adjective plus at combination, all right? Let's look then at the next one. To have experience of something. Now, The preposition of is very commonly soft. There's a soft form or a weak form. So have a listen to this.
I haven't had any real experience of teaching.
And you can see it's not of, it's of. So I don't have much experience of teaching. Of. It's a very soft sound. It's an of. This sound is not of. It's not open. The O becomes very neutral. It's quite weak. And when we make this of preposition weak, it really facilitates the transition between different words. So I don't have much experience of teaching. You can barely hear it. Experience of. I don't have much experience of teaching. I don't have much experience of playing the guitar. Okay, so you're not going to really hear the of because it's very, very neutral. Okay, but if you want to make a nice smooth transition, you need to learn to make to form or to pronounce the weak form of. And this, in this case, is a noun plus of combination. Okay, so let's look at the next one, which is to be worried about, to be worried. Okay, so start preocupado. Now, to be worried, again, you've got about here, and we're going to be using the weak form of about. So the A will be quite soft, it'll be about. So listen to this snippet here.
And I'm worried about not being able to control a class.
Okay, so to be worried about. He's worried about his results. He's worried about his results. Worried about. Okay, so the D is softened and the A is softened, and they form a transitionary sound, so worried about, okay? I'm really worried about the match. I'm really worried about the weather. I'm really worried about my exam results, okay? I'm really worried about my child. So this, you can see it's a about, worried about. I mean, this transition's quite smooth, and the word is stuck together, okay? Worried and about stick together to form almost one word, all right? So in this case, it's an adjective plus about. Okay then, what's next? Here we've got to shout at, to shout at. Again, shout, T is a quite aggressive sound. It doesn't help you flow. So we would soften the T and the neutral with the at. Okay, so let's listen to this next soundbite.
They shout at me in class. I'm not sure what I'll do.
And you can see I'd be really worried, or I would, this lady would be worried if the students shout at her. Shout it. Okay, it's not shout at, it's shout at. Okay, so the T practically becomes invisible, don't really pronounce it, and it merges the O sound from the shout. The O sound merges in with the A to form shout at. Okay, shout at. Okay, so we soften the T sound so it helps us flow through to the next preposition. Okay, so don't shout at me. Don't shout at me. Okay, shout at me. Don't shout at me. Okay, so that's how we do it, and that is a verb plus the preposition at. Okay, it's another combination. Look at, shout at. I don't know. I can't think of any more examples offhand, but it doesn't matter. Let's move on to the next one. So basically, the last part is my final thoughts. You need to be aware of prepositions after verbs. They're extremely important. They really help your fluency and your precision with the language. They also, are important. Some of them are dependent prepositions. For example, shout at and look at are dependent prepositions. You can't say look me, otherwise it sounds terrible. It's look at me. Okay, and we need to be aware of the pronunciation. We soften the last letter of many verbs or adjectives or nouns to help facilitate the flow or the transition to the preposition. If you are interested in improving or practicing your pronunciation, then join the Art of Business English community. You can register for a free account over at the Art of Business English website and practice your pronunciation at the end of each lesson. Okay, so basically that was just a quick lesson today to help you see how we make these transitions, how we pronounce these words with then followed by the preposition, because I think it's important. You can start practicing it. You can mirror and mimic and copy native speakers, and that's the best way to do it. Don't force it too much. If you force it too much, it'll sound wrong. But yeah, if you want to practice, come over to the Art of Business English. Check it out. And in the meantime, stay posted. Lots of things happening over here. Lots of work. We're heading into summer, so we'll have a bit more free time to organize some more short courses. Might get excited and launch another Powerful Presentations group coaching program. The last one was very successful. Had a good time with the guys that joined that. So yeah, if you are interested in improving your language skills with me, then stay posted, because this summer I'll be throwing a few things out there. Okay, people? As always, please send me your comments, like, share, all those funky things that help me reach more people and ultimately help more people improve their English. Okay, people, take care. Have a great week. I'll speak to you all next week. Bye for now.